Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because it
teach people like, hey, it's okay, change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
How you think you are. 27 days to radically shift your thinking and upgrade your life. More wealth, health, love, and joy.
Your course is the first course that I don't mind repeating again and again and again.
Click on the link for the special offer or visit the website at www.arvettemclean.com. Greetings and welcome to Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is how to maintain your peak state. And I have Teron joining me today. How are you, Teron?
Hey, Arvette, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, Teron has been with the podcast since the beginning, which was in January of 2018, and he typically works behind the scenes, but today he's in front of the camera, I guess for maybe, the third or fourth time?
Yeah.
And so the topic, again, is how to maintain your peak state. And this is actually a topic that Teron wanted to do. And so, Teron, I wanted to know, what is it? First of all, have you mastered the technique of maintaining your peak state?
So I don't know if I've mastered it yet. I think I'm coming closer and closer every day, though. I've been finding things that do work for me. So I wouldn't say mastered it, but as long as I keep working alongside you, I'm pretty sure I will.
Exactly. So when was your first time? Because I know with our podcast, we talk differently about what a peak state is and about achieving your dreams and how to go about doing that. When was the first time that you, I guess, kind of heard this type of ideology? And then kind of bring us on a journey of where you started and where you feel like you are now.
All right. So I feel like this type of ideology is something that we all usually hear often, but in little spurts from random places. It wasn't until 2018 when we started working on the podcast that I started hearing it more frequently and more routinely. And it started kind of ingraining into my brain. Well, I don't have to work so hard to do this. I can just ask for the things I want and these things come together. And I can focus my energy on things instead of focusing physical energy. And so I think it was around so I would say around 2018 is when I started feeling that way. And about 2019, I think, is when I really started applying it. So I would say in 2018, I was listening and hearing, but I wasn't sure how to do it yet. But I actually took your course and it actually gave me a lot of clues and hints to figure out how to reach my peak state. And it even helped me find what I feel is my peak state.
Yeah. Yeah, you say something very key and important because we've been taught that the way to get things done is to take that action. The more action you take, the better the result, that type of thing. And as I always say, you can get results from action, taking massive action. I've done that for a large part of my life, and I did have results. But the thing that goes along with taking that type of action is you're tired,
Hmm.
you're exhausted, you're not necessarily enjoying the things that you worked so hard for. And the thing about it is, you can never take more action, or I should say, um, when you get in alignment with the universe, alignment with your inner self, that's you can't take enough action to overroute what just being aligned would do. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, yes, I think I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, but it reminds me. I feel like growing up, I used to always hear, while they sleep, we work, and then I would be tired. Like, well, they sleeping, and we in the same place. So why must I be working so hard while they sleeping if I can also do the same thing that they're doing?
Now that is funny. So with you saying, so that's another thing that you say is that probably in 2018 you were kind of getting the ideology and understanding it, and then in 2019 you started applying. And I
Mhm.
know a lot of times that is how things work. It's like it has to be ingrained in you. Like first you have to get rid of or start
Mhm.
replacing a lot of the old belief systems, and then it's like, okay, I'm starting to feel this, but then you still have to actually apply the principles.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, I was actually talking to Rodney about this one day, and I feel like in 2018 I was a bit surprised at how much stuff I had to unlearn first, because sometimes those things that you have learned all your life can be a hindrance to changing your ideology. So I spent a lot of time just trying to like. I remember you say things like, and I would be like, "Well, that doesn't even make sense." But like now, if you were to say the same thing, I'm like, "Yeah, no, I get it." It was just all about unlearning first, and then I can finally start applying. So I think my process was to first unlearn, and then I would apply like something as small as like maybe just write a gratitude letter. Like I would do it, and I was like, all right, now let's do it again and feel it.
Mhm.
And it's like, all right, now you didn't feel it. Now let's do it again, feel it, and mean it. So I feel like this is always another step to take
Okay.
to make sure that you get there.
Okay. And do you see things manifesting more for you or more easily?
Yes, yes, I do. I'm trying to think of the perfect example. So I think the perfect example might be, oh, my apartment. Okay. So when I was apartment shopping, I just could not find an apartment to save my life. And everybody was like, all right, well, I mean, you say you want to move. I started thinking to myself, like, all right, you're getting a little older now. It's time to make a move. It's time to make a move. And I was like, well, no, let's change that thinking. Let's just say, let's start describing what you want in the apartment, and then it'll just come to you. So I went and did a random apartment tour, walked into this one, and it was the very first one I saw. I was like, no, this is it. And I don't know what made me even go look here. It was just something that just led me to it. I rode by it all for the last 5 years and never thought, hey, maybe I should look over there. But this time I was like, well, let me go see. Something led me to it, and it just felt like the one.
Yeah. And that's how it works. It's like once you're in alignment with whatever it is that you want, or even just with yourself, things come to you. You don't have to go out looking for it. Ideals pop into your head, the right people show up, the right apartment shows up, that type of thing. And so that is counterintuitive to how we've been taught to do things. And so
Mhm.
up until now, we're just kind of alluding to what we're talking about. And but the whole ideal is that we have to be in a peak state, and peak state includes things like feelings of love and joy and gratitude and appreciation and excitement and freedom and abundance. And you can add any adjective you want to as well,
Yeah.
Savon. But just that feeling of just being in joy and elated, that's
And
the
abundant.
feeling. That's the
Hmm.
feeling that you want to feel. And the more you can feel those feelings, the better, the quicker, the easier all the things that you want will just start to show up for you.
Yes, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I think one word that has always stood out to me that you've always said was abundant. And abundant was a word that before we started working together so closely, I always just started to mean like, oh, I want to be rich. Like I want to be abundant in wealth. But that would usually be where people stop with abundance. Like now I find myself saying, I want to be abundant I want to have abundance of happiness. I want to constantly feel like I'm never stressed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And one thing about abundance is everything, it's just like about everything in the universe is just so abundant. And if you start looking at and noticing, like how many leaves of grass are there? Or
Mm-hmm.
how many leaves, like in the fall, when you notice like the leaves on the ground, you're like, all those leaves are on that one tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot. It's just an abundance of stars. It's an abundance of people. Anything, almost anything you can think of. It's just more and more and more and more and more of that. And so, but yet we tend to hold ourselves in a position of lack. Like we think it's not enough of this to go around. It's not enough money to go around. It's not enough food to go around. It's not enough jobs to go around. It's not enough mates to go around, etc. When really it is, the whole universe is just abundant. And so we start tuning into the things that we want and take our attention off of the things that we don't want. That's when everything begins to flow for you. And so you made the comment, you said, I want abundance. And the shift there is to feel what it is that you want. So you feel it right now. You have to feel abundant right now. And whatever it is you want, you can just make a list of all the things you want. And then what would you feel like if you had that? So even if you want a new home, what would you feel like if you had a new home? So, you can just pretend like you're in your new home. Think about how it's going to be decorated. What is it that you will love the most? Do you love your new fireplace? And just like feel yourself loving that fireplace. Feel yourself laying out in front of it and, I don't know, drinking wine or whatever. Feel how luxurious your sofa is and whatever it is you want in your house. Just like really spend time there feeling the emotion of it. And I think so often we get confused between thinking and feeling. So were you ever stuck in that place?
Yes, I was. And I actually expressed to you that I was stuck in that place one time, and I'll never forget. You said, well, do you know how to force your emotions? You didn't use force, but I'm blanking on the word you used. I was like, yeah, I think so. So then you just started naming emotions. You was like, well, feel this way. And you did happy last. I remember you did happy last. So you might have said, well, feel sad first. And then you might have said, well, feel panic. And then you said, now feel happy. And it was just at that moment that it clicked for me. I was like, oh, if I just feel this, better things happen. If I feel this, the things that I want happens versus me just saying I want this or me just saying this or saying that instead of actually being that. Mm-hmm. So that was the shift. It was the shift from wanting to being.
Exactly. Exactly. And so whatever it is that you want, there's no reason that you can't feel the feeling of it right now. You can be it right now. And the more you can practice being it, the quicker it'll come to you. Because like attracts like. Whatever you're vibrating out, you're going to get back to you. And so you want to spend your time vibrating on all the good things. And it's so easy in life. We could have 5 good things going on, and then one bad thing will happen, and we'll put all of our attention on that bad thing. And so we have to be very intentional about putting our attention on the things that bring us the most joy, the things that will keep us in a high vibration, keep us happy. And in other words, we have to care about how we feel. We have to care about feeling good more than anything else.
I agree. So I guess I had a question for you, Yvette. So what do you usually do to reach your peak state?
Well, so I have different rituals and routines, and I do different things at different times. So a lot of times, maybe for like 3 months straight, I'll do a certain thing, or maybe a year straight, I'll do a certain thing. But the thing is, I want to always feel good when I'm doing it. So I don't want to be like, oh, that's boring. I want to be like, oh, I'm excited to do that. So currently, what I do, I actually wrote out a script of all the things that I want in life, how I want to feel, that type of thing. And so I read each line of my script and I feel what that feels like, and I visualize it, and I'm in a feel good place. And the thing about when you're bringing this feel good energy to yourself, it should not be a chore. It should be something that you love doing. And so right now I'm loving just reading the script, and with each line, I just visualize the thing and I feel like I'm there already. But sometimes I'll, for example, over the summer, what I did was I had a song that I would play that would just make me, it would make me dance, and and so basically, I'm not going to sing the song for y'all, but I would just be dancing and spinning around because it made me feel so abundant. It made me feel happy, joyful, playful, free. So I would do that. And earlier in the year, one of the things that I loved doing was I would sing this little chant. I would be like, I love my body. Thank you, body. I love my body. Thank you, body. As you can see, I like stuff where I'm moving. I like to be emotional with it. So I changed those types of things up, but the things that I'll keep consistent is going out into nature. I think that's one of the most important things that you can do. Because when you're there, if you start noticing it will make you excited, and it will make you understand the abundance of life, and it will make you just feel like you're connected to everything. So I would say number one is being in nature. Number two, I would say I always take quiet time to myself. And then number three is I spend time feeling whatever that emotion is, which typically my emotions that I like to feel. I like to feel free. I like to feel happy. I like to feel like healthy. So I'm just visualizing all that stuff. I like the feeling of love. So I like to feel like I'm loved, and I like to feel like I'm radiating love.
I like that. So goodness, the more we talk, the more I realize I take so much from you. I'll never forget one day we were having a conversation, and you had told me, well, why don't you try going outside a little more? And so that had started becoming my thing. For a long period of time, I would like find myself going to different parks and things like that because it just made me feel better. Like, I just felt more with everything else as I was just out of the park by myself. It's like, all right, it's just me here, but I'm hearing the birds. It's not just me here. It's me, that bird, that squirrel, those people over there fishing. It was just all of it. I just felt like I was connected with everybody. And so you had actually also are the reason I started a lot of my routines. And so I found that I like to start my mornings feeling good. So I might get up, I might either listen to a song that might make me feel good, or I'll drink a cup of tea. But when I'm doing these activities, I'm never just doing it for the activity. I'm always making sure I'm in that moment. It's like that's just my way of grounding myself in the very beginning to make sure I'm there, present in that moment, and able to access every bit of energy and vibration and just feeling I have.
Yeah. And so I know you say you do that first thing in the morning. So that's something you do every morning?
Yes. Either music or tea. One of the two is going to happen every morning.
Yes. And then do you do anything else throughout the day?
Yeah. So towards the end of the night, I always I used to write, but I've gotten lazy on that, so probably pick that back up because it was helping a lot when I was doing it. I would usually like write either something I was grateful for or like just write how the day went. Just a nice little reflection. And I would in the reflections I always tried to make sure I kept it in a positive tone because again, you are what you feel. And so I wanted to always feel positive and I want to be positive. So I need to write positively. Everything I need to do need to be in that light. So I would do that. And I also listen to thunderstorms to go to sleep at night. I would literally cut on YouTube, cut on like go search like thunderstorms and like just have it playing. And I also use like a little like eye mask just to make sure I have no light coming in. Now I don't know why I'm so particular about these two things, but I just need those to end my night. Some random. Oh no! Lately it's actually been fireplace crackling. So I would like listen to like the crackle of a fireplace. I'm like, I don't know why that like I don't know why it makes me feel good because it sounds like somebody's balling up paper. But for me, it just does it.
And that is so awesome. And it's just so great to hear just like quirky things that can make you feel good. Like it's all about what makes you feel good, which is going to be different for different people. Now, I do feel like, you mentioned music as well. And some people like to kind of mellow out on the music, which is great.
Mhm.
But I do think that when you move your body and,
Mhm.
with the music and stuff, like I feel like that's a quick way to shift out of, a downer feeling to an upper feeling. So I
Yeah.
use that. I've learned to use that because I used to do it all the time when I was young. Because I used to be a little sad little kid or whatever. And but I turn on that music and I would just dance. And then by the time, because back then people used to make you like tapes or whatever, like dance tapes.
Mhm.
So I would just listen to the tapes, and by the end of the tape, I would just feel so much better. And that's what it's all about is in order to raise your vibration, your frequency, to attract the things that you want in life, you just have to keep putting yourself in that state over and over and over again until it becomes a habit. And, you know, it's almost like a reprogramming. And
Mhm.
not to anything to feel bad about if you slip into not feeling good. Just
Mhm.
get back into feeling good again. So that's the main thing. And so I would say like possibly write down a list of how you want to feel or a list of the things that you want and then actually feel the feelings of that thing. And you could do that every day. Get into a vibration of gratitude and appreciation. And I think appreciation is literally one of the highest vibrations that you can be in. And so appreciation is slightly different from gratitude in that you're just looking at something and just appreciating it. Like, oh my goodness, this is just so beautiful. Or like the sound of the birds, it just sounds so
Mhm.
sweet, you know. A tree, like, oh my goodness, look at the shape, this magnificence of this tree, the different colors on the tree, the leaves, and all of the I guess life that it supports, just really get into appreciating wherever you are, find something to appreciate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I would also say, because this is also work for me sometimes. If I'm feeling down, it it's gonna sound backwards, but when I'm feeling down, I usually send out a bunch of nice texts to all my friends because that just lifts me up. So now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably a form of that appreciation. Honestly, it's like, all right, I'm not having the greatest of day. Well, let me text all the people I care about and just say something really nice. And then I feel like it's always like, hey, I really appreciate you because you always do this, or I was thinking of you today, and so thank you. That just helps me every time too, honestly.
Yes, that is awesome. I love that. I might take you up on that one. I love the idea of that. And being nicer to yourself as well as being nicer to everyone else, that raises your vibration tremendously. A lot of times, some of us we tend to be nice to other people,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily nice to ourselves. And so I think taking the time to be kinder to yourself. A lot of times I receive emails where people are kicking themselves for some grave mistake that they made, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, lighten up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not as bad as you're perceiving it to be or whatever, but just being kinder to ourselves. And a lot of times we don't even realize when we're not kind to ourselves. And it's probably not even important that we recognize when we're not kind, but just
Mm-hmm.
put more effort into being kind to ourselves.
Yes, I definitely agree with that too. That's also one of the things you told me early on. I can guess I could give a quick story. I'll never forget one time. It might have been around 20. It was still 2018. Some holiday had just passed, and so usually the way I kept up with doing all the tasks for the podcast was I would also like line it up with my work schedule. But I was off of work that day, so I forgot to do something, and so I just called you. I was so upset with myself, and I think your words might have been, "You messed up. So what's next?"
So, you know what? I think you just froze up, so we didn't hear. So I heard you say that you were so upset with yourself about the not doing a particular task, and then what happened?
uh, I called you, and you might have just said, "So you messed up. What's wrong?" And then I was like, "Yeah, well, I just feel like I'm letting you down. I'm letting up." And your response was, "No, just do it soon, and everything will be fine." And that, I don't know, it was at that moment that I realized, like, all right, I sat right here and I bet I was beating myself up for forever before I even made the call to tell you, like, oh my goodness, I forgot. I was like, oh, she's gonna hate it. It's gonna be the worst. And so I've already put all these negative feelings onto myself. And so it was just so relieving for you to come and kind of lift that off of me and show me, hey, you don't have to carry all of that. So thank you.
Well, you are so welcome. And if only I could do that for myself. No, I'm just kidding. But I am a person who I hold myself to high standards. And I'm sorry, I just dropped something. And
No, you're
so
fine.
when I will fall short, I'm like, you're on punishment until you get that done. And so that's one of the things that I'm in a constant working on. It's like, okay, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, or that,
Mhm.
and to kind of think about, like, how would you respond if it was someone else, or how would you respond if it was a baby, or you respond totally different than how you respond to yourself. And so
Yeah.
it's really like being in a place where you can respond to yourself in a loving way.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I just thought about something that I also do as a part of routine that I forgot to mention. So I'll never forget. I was watching TV one day, and somebody on the TV. What show was I watching? Can't even remember. So it's not important. But anyway, they did float therapy, and I'll never forget. I was sitting there with my mom. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try that," and I just got up and did it the next day, and it turned out to be something that was so peaceful for me. And I was like, "All right, well, I think I want to do this more." So then I did it again, and I was like, well, I like this. Let's try to do this like once a month. So now once a month, I like go to float therapy and I go floating. And I've actually now recently just added on another one that, well, I think I'm going to add it on, was the infrared sauna. But it's just these little random, like, there's so many random acts and tasks and things for people to do to become more mindful. So I find myself, I want to hold myself more accountable to actually look up more of these things, actually. Because if I am enjoying one, I'm enjoying two. I probably enjoy the next 10.
Yeah, and that's so cool because I have a guru that I listen to, and one of the things they always say is go have fun. Go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So think every day, think about what would bring me joy today, and then go do that. And I'm like oftentimes challenged with that. Like, what would what would be fun for me today? And so I do want to focus more on that. And that's a great thing that you're saying. It's like, there are things I've never tried before, I could just try some things. Just the whole exploration part within itself is fun and exciting. And then who knows what you're going to land upon something that you love to do. So I like
Hmm.
that, Teron.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So in general, to maintain our peak state, we have to first get there, right?
Yeah.
And we have to then keep ourselves there. And so the way to get there is to just focus on how you feel. Don't worry about getting things done and how is it going to happen and just focus on how do you feel. Make yourself feel as good as you can make yourself feel. And just keep practicing on that, on raising your vibration all throughout the day. Now, both Tehran and I have spoke about having rituals in place where first thing in the morning, there's certain things that we do. And that's a great place to start, you know, with meditation or spending time alone, with being outside, with just really thinking about what's going to make you feel good. Do that thing that's going to make you feel good. Writing down how you want to feel, write down the things that you want in life, and how would those things make you feel, and then spend time feeling those things. So that's stuff you can put into your day where you know for a fact every day for at least what 15, 20 minutes I'm
Hmm.
going to be in this state of gratitude, appreciation, love, joy, happiness, abundance, freedom. You're going to be feeling those emotions. But then also throughout the day, as often as you can, bring your attention back to whatever you would love. It's so easy for us to stray and to think about all the things that we don't want, all the things that went wrong. But instead, think about things that bring you joy, things that you've done well, people who make you smile. Just
Hmm.
really focus on something that's going to raise your vibration and keep your vibration high. Um, so, anything you want to add to that, Teron?
Um, just one thing. Talking about it, the more you talk about changing your thinking, the easier it becomes for you. So I would just say, talk about it to as many people as you can, or as many people as you feel comfortable with talking about it with, because that does help. So that's it.
Yeah, it definitely does. That's a really great point to get yourself into a community of people who are talking about these things and or reading about it, listening to podcasts like this one, doing looking at videos, etc. The more you stay thinking about it, the easier it will be for you to start being about it. So yeah. Thank you for checking in with us today. And hopefully, this will be the first step to your day being a great day. So, if you today, when you click off this video, I want you to go do something fun or think something that's going to make you laugh. And speaking of laughing, I've heard of so many people who have healed themselves just by looking at funny movies.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know why I forgot about the laughter part because that's another thing that I do. I laugh all the time at everything. And so, yeah, I would add that to the list of things to do. Find reasons to laugh, make up reasons to laugh, and just go have a good time. So again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me today, Teron.
Oh, no problem, Aved. Thank you for having me.
All righty, guys. Thank you again. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. This is Arvette and Teron.
Bye.